set up all the stunts, the chases, and then it was a 7-day shoot week for the show.
For 6 years, CHiPs was America's safest cop show. Then on April 9, 1983, something happened that nobody saw coming. A scene so disturbing that cast members couldn't sleep for weeks. Robert Pine, who directed it, later called it his biggest mistake. Kelly Preston was only 20 and said it haunted her dreams. Even today, the actors won't talk about what they filmed that night. The episode aired once and traumatized an entire generation. The show was canceled 3 weeks later. This is the scene that killed CHiPs. In 1977, NBC was in big trouble. The network was losing badly to ABC, which had hit shows like Starsky and Hutch and Charlie's Angels. NBC's primetime schedule was falling apart. Not a single new show from the 1975 season survived for a second year. They tried to win young viewers with expensive miniseries and specials, but that plan backfired. Older audiences left, and the younger crowd didn't come. The network needed a miracle. That miracle came in the form of CHiPs. It was a gamble that worked. The show ran for 139 episodes across 6 seasons and became a pop culture hit. Sometimes, when a network is most desperate, it ends up creating something unforgettable. The man behind this idea was Rick Rosner. His pitch to NBC was bold. He said it would be like Starsky and Hutch on motorcycles, but sunnier and friendlier. Rosner got the idea while watching real CHP officers during a coffee break. But his plan was pure Hollywood. He imagined high-speed chases, bright California highways, and 2 stars who would win over viewers. Rosner, who was a reserve deputy sheriff himself, knew how to add real-life details. NBC liked what they heard and greenlit the show. Rosner's mix of action and clean fun helped CHiPs stand out from the darker police dramas of the time. What's even more amazing is how they filmed those famous chase scenes. The show made it look like they had all of Los Angeles to themselves. In reality, they filmed almost everything on just 10 miles of new freeway that wasn't open to the public yet. LA was building new roads, and the producers jumped at the chance to use them. This saved money and made it easy to film wild stunts without worrying about traffic. They kept reusing the same stretch, changing camera angles so it looked like different parts of the city. That small piece of highway gave CHiPs its signature action style. The real California Highway Patrol made a bold choice, too. They agreed to help the show, something they hadn't done with any TV series in 24 years. They thought CHiPs would make their officers look good and help their image. They gave the production team advice, let them use their uniforms and insignia, and even provided real CHP vehicles. But they soon saw that Hollywood would bend the rules for drama. For example, CHiPs showed 2 officers riding together, which almost never happens in real life. The show did help the CHP's public image, but the agency had to accept losing some control over how they were shown. What really made CHiPs special was its unique style. It had action and comedy, but almost no gun violence. The officers hardly ever drew their weapons. In fact, the original series never showed them fire a gun. That only happened in the 1999 reunion. The focus was on motorcycle chases, car crashes, and the daily struggles of traffic cops. This made it a show families could enjoy together. It drew in kids and parents who didn't want dark, violent stories. Larry Wilcox, who played John Baker, wasn't just acting tough. He was the real deal. Before CHiPs, he served in the Marines during the Vietnam War. He enlisted in May 1967 at just 19 years old. He was part of the 12th Marines and served in dangerous areas like Dong Ha, the DMZ, and Con Thien. He saw combat during the Tet Offensive in 1968. His job was to calculate artillery coordinates, a risky task that put him right in harm's way. He reached the rank of Staff Sergeant before leaving the Marines in 1973. On CHiPs, his character gave viewers a rare, positive image of a Vietnam vet at a time when most shows portrayed them as broken or troubled. Eric Estrada, who played Ponch, had a very different path. When he was hired, he didn't even know how to ride a motorcycle. The producers put him through an 8-week crash course, but he never felt comfortable on the bike. He didn't get his motorcycle license until years later. And only after failing the test 3 times. Filming was dangerous for him. In 1979, he crashed and broke his ribs and both wrists. The injury was so bad, they wrote it into the show. And he even filmed from a hospital bed. Still, his charm on screen made him a star, even though he was nervous behind the scenes. Then there was Robert Pine, who played Sergeant Gettreyer. Pine had been acting on TV since the early 1960s. By the time CHiPs started, he had over 400 TV roles under his belt. At first, he wasn't sure the show would last, but he agreed to do the pilot and became the rock of the series for 6 seasons. He kept things steady on set when tempers flared. He even directed some episodes and mentored younger actors. His real wife played his on-screen wife, too. When Estrada had a contract dispute, Pine helped keep the team together. His calm and experience helped CHiPs stay on course through all its ups and downs. On September 15, 1977, something amazing happened on television. NBC aired the first episode of CHiPs, and within just 4 minutes, millions of people across America were hooked. The show went from being brand new to becoming a cultural sensation almost instantly. People couldn't get enough of the fun mix of action, comedy, and drama. Eric Estrada as Officer Frank Poncherello, and Larry Wilcox as Officer John Baker had perfect chemistry. Viewers loved their friendship, the exciting motorcycle stunts, and the sunny Los Angeles scenery. Families gathered around the TV, and by the end of the first season, CHiPs was one of NBC's top-rated shows. It wasn't just entertainment. The show promoted motorcycle safety, too. The heroes always wore helmets, and the public service messages stuck in people's minds. In its first year, CHiPs did more than just succeed in ratings. It started a trend. Cop shows became lighter, funnier, and full of action. The gritty style of the 1970s gave way to a more upbeat and thrilling vibe that carried into the 1980s. But the magic of CHiPs didn't stop with what aired on TV. The show became a marketing giant. By the early 1980s, you could find CHiPs merchandise everywhere. Kids played with action figures and toy motorcycles made by the Mego Corporation. There were 2 different sizes of figures, so children could act out highway chases at home. Lunchboxes with Ponch and John's faces showed up in schools all over the country. Stores sold Halloween costumes, board games, and even medical emergency kits branded with the CHiPs logo. Eric Estrada's Ponch became a teen idol, and magazines couldn't print enough photos of him. The demand for CHiPs products was massive. You could walk into malls, toy shops, or even pharmacies and find something related to the show. The merchandising brought in millions of dollars and made CHiPs one of the most successful TV properties of its time. Even today, collectors still search for CHiPs memorabilia, proving just how powerful that marketing wave was. The show's success wasn't limited to America. CHiPs soon spread across the world. It aired in dozens of countries, from the United Kingdom to Australia. People in non-English speaking places watched dubbed or subtitled versions. The fast-paced action, light humor, and sunny California backdrop made it easy for global audiences to enjoy. For many, it was their first look at American police officers, and it shaped how they saw law enforcement as friendly, heroic, and part of the community. The impact went deeper, too. Police shows in other countries started to copy CHiPs. They added more action, focused on friendships between officers, and included positive moral messages. Over time, you could see hints of CHiPs in police dramas in Europe, Asia, and Latin America. Eric Estrada was at the peak of his fame on CHiPs when disaster struck on August 6, 1979. That day, he was filming a high-speed chase scene. Suddenly, a car that was backing down an alley appeared in his path. The car slammed into him at about 35 miles per hour. Estrada was thrown off his 600-pound motorcycle, and the crash nearly killed him. His wrists shattered. Up to 12 ribs broke. Both lungs were punctured and collapsed. He blacked out as he hit the ground, only hearing faint sounds as he slipped in and out of consciousness. His co-star, Larry Wilcox, a Vietnam veteran, knew right away that Eric was bleeding internally. Wilcox's quick thinking probably saved his life. Estrada was rushed to UCLA Hospital and spent 5 days in critical condition. For those 5 days, it wasn't clear if he would survive. The producers faced a nightmare. Their star was in a hospital bed, and the show risked shutting down. But instead of halting production, they did something no one expected. They brought the cameras to Eric's hospital room. They wrote scenes where Ponch was recovering just like Eric. Fans saw him in a hospital bed, not realizing it was real. This bold move kept the show going. It blurred the line between fiction and reality and became one of television's most creative responses to a crisis. But Estrada's crash also pulled back the curtain on the dangerous world of CHiPs. The show was famous for its wild stunts. Cars flipping, explosions, massive pile-ups. Every stunt was done for real. And safety standards back then were nowhere near today's levels. In one episode filmed on Forest Lawn Drive, a huge freeway crash was staged. 11 characters died in that scene, more than half the total on-screen deaths for the entire 6-season run, which ended at 19. The spectacle was thrilling for viewers, but the risks were real. Estrada's crash wasn't the only close call. Near misses and injuries became a part of daily life on set. The crash also hit the studio hard where it hurt most, its wallet. Insurance companies were alarmed. Premiums shot up. Suddenly, the cost of all those stunts looked a lot steeper. The production was forced to change. Stunts were rehearsed more carefully. Scenes involving vehicles were supervised more closely. The budget took a hit, but the shift went beyond CHiPs. Across Hollywood, producers started rethinking safety and insurance. Estrada's accident became a turning point that helped make sets safer. When CHiPs hit TV screens in 1977, Eric Estrada and Larry Wilcox seemed like the perfect team. Both were billed as equals, both shared the spotlight. But it didn't take long for cracks to show. Eric's charm as Officer Ponch made him a fan favorite almost overnight. By season 3, he wasn't just popular, he was a phenomenon. He got more fan mail than any other actor on television. His face was everywhere. From magazine covers to posters, fame went to his head. He wanted top billing, he wanted more screen time. At one point, he even wanted a Rolls-Royce in his contract. Larry Wilcox, who played the serious John Baker, felt left out. The scripts changed. Ponch got the jokes, the stunts, the attention. Larry felt like a sidekick on his own show. The tension grew. Crew members saw it. Guest stars felt it. The two barely spoke off camera. The press had a field day writing about their feud. The friendship the audience saw on screen wasn't real. After 5 seasons, Larry had had enough. He walked away. And many say that was the beginning of the end for CHiPs. But the drama didn't stop there. In 1981, Eric Estrada went on strike. He wanted more money. He wanted a share of the show's syndication profits. He thought he deserved it because his face sold the show. When the studio said no, Eric stopped showing up. The producers were desperate. They brought in Bruce Jenner, yes, the Olympic gold medalist, as Officer Steve McLeish. Bruce was famous, but it didn't work. Fans missed Ponch. Ratings dropped. After just 7 episodes, Bruce was gone. The studio gave Eric what he wanted, a big raise and a cut of the profits. He came back, but the damage was done. While Eric fought for money, Larry fought for respect. He was a Vietnam veteran. He wanted deeper stories. He pitched ideas. He asked for better scripts. The producers didn't listen. Instead, they kept pushing Ponch's character and sidelined Larry even more. By season 5, Larry realized he wasn't just being ignored, he was being written out. He left, saying he wanted to grow as an actor. But the truth was, he couldn't take the behind-the-scenes battles anymore. The magic was gone. New actors came in, but the spark never returned. There was also a shakeup behind the camera. The original producers were fired early on. Ratings were slipping. In 1978, CHiPs stepped in. He had a reputation for saving troubled shows. He changed CHiPs fast. He added more action. He made the stories lighter. He made sure Ponch stayed the star. He ran everything: story meetings, edits, rewrites. But his style caused friction. Some actors and writers clashed with him. Still, he kept the show alive for 6 seasons and 125 episodes. That's no small feat for a series filled with so much tension. The The set was nothing like the happy scenes viewers saw each week. Crew members described it as cold and stressful. Everyone knew Eric and Larry didn't get along. One person said it was no secret these guys disliked each other, but $25,000 an episode for 6 days' work was a good reason to keep going. Their feud touched everything. How scenes were shot, when they took breaks, even where they stood. The tension didn't stop with them. The pressure to stay on the air, the contract fights, the staff changes, they all wore people down. Directors rewrote scenes on the fly. Writers had to adjust to last-minute demands. Somehow, the crew kept things together. In April 1983, something strange happened on a show that people thought they knew well. CHiPs, the cheerful cop drama that filled living rooms with car chases and good morals, took a turn no one saw coming. The episode Things That Go Creep in the Night aired on April 9, 1983, and it left fans speechless. Instead of sunny highways and friendly officers, viewers got jump scares, dark beaches, and a man in a sea monster suit attacking people. The story followed a woman named Anna, who believed she was being stalked by a sea creature. Behind it all was a comic book artist and a magician pulling off a strange kidnapping and extortion plan. But what really shocked people was how the show tried to make the supernatural seem real, until it revealed that it was all just a trick. By the end, it felt like the show had lost its mind. Fans and critics agreed. This episode didn't just miss the mark. It became a warning of what happens when a series tries too hard to change itself. At the center of this odd disaster was Kelly Preston. She was only 20 years old and years away from being a star. But in this episode, she played Anna, a young woman broken by grief and fear. Anna thought her mother had died. Then she started to believe her mother's ghost was reaching out to her. The villain of the story played with her mind, using fake calls and creepy setups to push her into paranoia. Kelly Preston showed real emotion in the role. Her fear, her sadness, and her hope felt raw. It made the strange story even more uncomfortable to watch. By the time Anna faced the villain who had been pretending to be her mother, viewers were left shaken. People still talk about this performance as one of the most haunting parts of the show's history, but many say it also made the episode feel even more out of place. Then came a scene that made everything worse. The officers went to the coroner's office thinking they were about to see Anna's mother's body. But when they opened the casket, what they found was shocking. Inside was a fake head that crumbled the moment air touched it. The image of that head falling apart, mixed with weird sound effects and exaggerated reactions, felt like it belonged in a cheap horror film. Until that point, CHiPs had always kept things safe for families. But this was something else entirely. The coroner, played by Royal Dano, added to the strange mood, making the whole thing feel even creepier. Fans say this was the moment the show truly lost its way. Even the people behind the scenes couldn't save it. Robert Pine, the actor who played Sergeant Getreyer, directed this episode. He was known for being solid and professional, but not even he could make the story work. His direction gave the episode good pacing and clean shots, but the plot was beyond saving. The cast looked uncomfortable as they tried to act out the bizarre scenes. Guest stars like Kelly Preston, Rich Little, and Cassandra Peterson, famous as Elvira, were stuck playing over-the-top roles, trying to make the nonsense believable. The regular cast had to fight fake sea monsters and react to holograms. It was clear that no one quite believed in what they were doing. People still say Robert Pine's direction was the best part of the episode. But it wasn't enough. The damage was done. Fans hated it. They ranked Things That Go Creep in the Night as the worst episode the show ever made. Many felt it marked the beginning of the end. The series was canceled just weeks later. Viewers complained that the episode felt uncomfortable and messy, wasting the talents of a great guest cast and throwing away the show's good name. Even today, people bring up this episode when talking about TV's biggest mistakes. The show CHiPs ran for 6 seasons and 139 episodes. What made it so unique wasn't just the California sun or the motorcycles. It was the fact that, in all those episodes, officers drew their guns only 3 times. That's right, just 3 times. And here's what's even more surprising. Neither of the main stars, Eric Estrada as Ponch or Larry Wilcox as John, ever pulled a weapon. The guns came out only when supporting officers like Barry Baricha had no other choice. The first time was in 1978, during the Season 2 opener, Peaks and Valleys. Baricha's patrol car was under fire, so he responded. The second time was in 1981, in an episode called Karate. And the third and last time came in the final season. This wasn't a coincidence. The creators worked with the real California Highway Patrol to keep the show family-friendly. No gun violence, just good guys helping people and solving problems with words, fists, or charm. That's why fans today still talk about those rare gun draw moments. They stood out because they were so rare. But CHiPs didn't always stick to safe ground. In 1982 and 1983, Cassandra Peterson, as Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, showed up twice. Her first appearance was in Rock Devil Rock, and the second, more infamous one, was in Things That Go Creep in the Night, which aired on April 10, 1983. Elvira, with her plunging black dress and gothic humor, seemed completely out of place. The show had always been clean-cut, but suddenly there was this wild, risque energy. Viewers couldn't believe their eyes. The episode mixed horror, comedy, and camp. It was so over the top that it became unforgettable for better or worse. The car stunts on CHiPs added to the madness. They were spectacular, but also so fake that fans could see the ramps right there on screen. Cars flew through the air, flipped, exploded, and you could spot the safety gear making it all happen. In the episode Thrill Show, stunt drivers Joey Chitwood Jr. and Tim Chitwood tried dangerous tricks at Ascot Park. One jump went wrong. A 1964 Chevy Impala flipped and landed on its side. The driver walked away, but the chaos was real. Across the series, at least 139 cars met their doom in these wild crashes. The visible ramps and props didn't ruin the fun. They just made CHiPs even more charming in its own bizarre way. As the seasons went on, something else changed. The show that once kept things clean started slipping in adult themes. More and more, episodes featured flirty banter, tight outfits, and nightclub scenes. What started as family TV shifted toward something spicier. The Elvira episodes were part of this, but they weren't alone. Viewers noticed the difference. Some liked it. Others missed the original, wholesome feel. It was clear that CHiPs was changing with the times. Behind the scenes, the tension boiled over. Larry Wilcox had enough by 1982. After 5 seasons, he quit. Officially, he wanted new challenges, but the truth was messier. His feud with Eric Estrada had become impossible. The two argued constantly. Wilcox didn't even invite Estrada to his wedding. Estrada's contract demands, a Rolls-Royce and a bigger cut of profits, only made things worse. Wilcox walked away, fed up with the drama and feeling sidelined. His exit left a hole the show couldn't fill. Tom Riley tried. He came in as Officer Bobby Hot Dog Nelson, meant to be a brash rookie full of energy, but fans never took to him. Then, the unthinkable happened. On December 21, 1982, Riley was arrested by real CHP officers for possessing Quaaludes. A cop on TV busted in real life. The show shifted focus to Bruce Penhall, and Bobby quietly disappeared. There was also the brief, strange time when Olympic hero Bruce Jenner stepped in. In 1981, during Estrada's contract fight, Jenner appeared in 7 episodes as Officer Steve McLeish. It was supposed to save the show, but it didn't work. The ratings dipped. Fans wanted Ponch back. When Estrada returned, Jenner's character was gone without a word. The story of CHiPs is really the story of 2 men whose lives were changed forever by fame. Eric Estrada played Officer Frank Poncherello, known to everyone as Ponch. He wasn't just another actor in a cop show. He became one of the first Latino stars to lead a network police drama. Millions of people saw him as a hero. Kids looked up to him. Some even chose to join public service because of him. His good looks and charm made him a pop icon. But that same role that made him famous also trapped him. After CHiPs, he kept getting offered the same type of parts. The big success he had as Ponch never returned. He tried guest spots and reality shows, but nothing matched the heights of his CHiPs days. Larry Wilcox, who played the by-the-book officer John Baker, had a different struggle. He left CHiPs during its 5th season. There were tensions on set. He also wanted to do something more meaningful. But walking away from John Baker wasn't easy. He couldn't shake the image. He tried producing. He found some success with Ray Bradbury Theater, which even won awards. But things took a dark turn in 2011. Wilcox got caught in an FBI sting. He had been involved in penny stock kickbacks. The result? He was sentenced to probation for securities fraud. The man people once saw as a clean-cut hero ended up in a courtroom, far from the sunny highways of CHiPs. The show gave both men massive fame, but it also boxed them in. For Wilcox, the price was not just a stalled career, but personal and legal troubles too. When CHiPs first hit TV screens in 1977, it changed police shows forever. Before that, cop dramas were serious and often dark. But CHiPs was different. It mixed action, humor, and bright California scenes. It focused on friendship and teamwork, not just crime-solving. Episodes had several storylines at once. The show avoided heavy violence and instead gave viewers thrilling chases and funny side plots. Audiences loved it. The style worked so well that it inspired hit shows like Magnum P.I., Simon and Simon, and The A-Team. These series copied CHiPs' winning formula. They had duos or teams, exciting adventures, and a light-hearted feel. CHiPs proved police shows could be fun for the whole family. By the mid-1980s, its style became the blueprint for a wave of popular TV hits. Even today, you can see its influence in modern police dramas, but not every CHiPs comeback worked. In 2017, Warner Brothers tried to bring CHiPs to the big screen. Dax Shepard wrote, directed, and starred in the movie, with Michael Pena as Punch. Fans were excited at first, but that excitement quickly turned to horror. The movie dumped the show's family-friendly style. Instead, it went for R-rated jokes, crude humor, and wild action. The result? A flop. The movie made just $26 million on a $25 million budget. Reviews were brutal. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 20% score. Metacritic gave it 28 out of 100. Fans felt betrayed. Larry Wilcox slammed the film on Twitter. He said Warner Brothers had ruined the CHiPs brand and insulted the California Highway Patrol. Eric Estrada, who had a cameo, stayed polite. He told fans they could always watch the original if they didn't like the reboot. The movie's failure showed how much people still cared about the real CHiPs, and how badly a remake can go when it loses the spirit of the original. There had been other tries at bringing back CHiPs. In 1998, CHiPs 99 aired on TV. It reunited Estrada and Wilcox as older versions of Punch and John. Punch was a widowed dad. John was a captain married to a younger woman. Wilcox even did some of his own stunts. Fans loved seeing the pair again. The film kept the family-friendly tone and gave viewers the nostalgia they wanted. But it wasn't enough. The supporting cast didn't catch on. Ratings weren't strong. The hoped-for new series never happened. Later attempts to revive CHiPs fizzled out too.